the agenda for the bill tonight are myself, Commissioner Chaco, Commissioner Sanchez, Commissioner Santos, and Commissioner Martinez. Everybody's here in person. And we have the two general managers, Mr. Miguel Berdalio and John Beneventi, on board. So the approval of minutes is the first one up. We have, did you load the minutes?
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Subject to written correction, there's two.
Two.
Yeah. Two? What are the dates?
March 30th, 5 o'clock. April 3rd,
Okay.
and May 30th, and July 3rd.
Okay, we have four of them.
Okay, I'll see the third. And May 30th. Okay.
Okay.
They're all on, Mr. Chairman.
So they're all loaded. Is your motion, Commissioner Sanchez,
Motion.
to approve all four?
All, yeah.
All four? Is there a second?
Second.
Second? Okay. Any further, subject to written correction, are there any further discussion? No? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimous. Next up, is there anybody from the public? No. Okay. John, you got the floor. You're up. GPA's first.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. 7 resolutions for your consideration tonight. I'd like to go to the resolution that we
Sure.
Mr. Chairman, and then we can address the report in the motion that GM report.
Sure.
Resolution 40 FY 2023. This is approval of the updated credit card policy. It's really an audit recommendation. In addition to that, the both power and water to these the recommendation for your adoption. Again, the standard operating procedures. You means the standard operating procedures for appropriate level of internal controls with the use of credit cards and all of that. So this was discussed in the next session, Mr. Chairman. If you have any questions, you can answer.
Do we have any questions? Go ahead, Commissioner
No,
Sanchez.
it's motion to approve
Oh, motion.
GPA resolution FY 23 number 25 and GWA resolution number 40 for FY 2023.
Okay. Second. Any further discussion? Questions? No? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimous. Next, John?
FY 2023-26, this is for the authorizing expenditure for the additional change order for the out of service inspection and refurbishment of the GPA bulk fuel oil stainless tank fuel 1934. Every 10 years you go through an inspection of both tanks, 1934 and 1935, but of course it goes through a process where there's no way around it but to amend the contract as you go further because we don't know how much damage is inside and we don't know how much oil or sludge is inside. So similar to what we have done with 1935, 1934 now is at the point where we have to remove the slots in the bottom of the tank. And that's at the cost of $1.263448. That will bring the contract for the two tanks up to about $15.42 million now. Just for an estimate of what the additional monies may take to complete both tanks, probably another 3 to 5 million. Hopefully there's not that much repairs that have to make to the big storage. But these are two large fuel oil storage tank and has to be well prepared because it is now going to be holding the real light ultra low sulfur diesel versus even the heavy oil. And know the leak protection and everything is being monitoring is being renewed and installed. No?
Okay.
So this is
Okay, is there a motion?
Motion to approve GPA resolution FY 2023-26, authorizing expenditure for the additional change order work for the out of service inspection and refurbishment of GPA bulk storage fuel tank. 1934. That's a long one.
Yeah, that is a long
Is there a
way.
second? Second, Commissioner
I do
Santos.
have a question, John,
Sure,
on
go
the,
ahead.
on the, work session I asked, do we know what we do with that sludge? What, were you able to find out? Like,
I'm sorry, Commissioner, it's the amendment, but I think what we do with it is, most of it, I think, is sent off island now.
so it's packed,
Yeah.
barreled and
We have some,
exported
an
out?
arrangement to take it out because we can't burn it all now. And especially we're burning the real clean fuel, so we're hardly burning any more waste oil.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? None? All those in favor of the of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next, John.
The next 5 resolutions, Mr. Chair, are all very similar, and again, this is recognizing the team that have worked in the restoration of Typhoon Mawar, which again has been the fastest recovery in all my career in Gpwa, dating back to no need to say, but it's been a long time, no?
Last
You can't remember?
It's
been that long?
It's been a while. But again, first and foremost, of course, our employees, no, and all the hard 12 to 16 hours a day that they work to make that happen, and that's FY 2023-27. The next one after that is to the Snohomish group. They send about 15 personnel here and work on the transmission system. By them working on them, it allowed our employees to continue to hook up customers throughout the period. They did an excellent job for us, no? The one after that is to the CNMI, our brothers from the Commonwealth, Northern Marianas, who again we have helped in the past, and they came over and helped and sent about 12 employees for the whole duration of our restoration, which is about a month and a half. The fourth one is looking at, of course, the Pompey utilities, and that's the first time that we've worked with them. They came in, integrated into our team, and worked very well. They sent, I believe, 8 personnel to help us in this process again. And then the last one, not typical, but we needed to house all of this linemen. And of course, housing, transportation, and all of that are all part of the logistical issues that could be nightmares, if you will, in a period of time after restoration, and everyone's coming in from FEMA everywhere. The Hyatt made all the effort to make sure that everyone that we brought in was housed at the Hyatt and took care of them, including other accommodations for them. So I did want to take the time that we recognize them for that particular help, because that's what makes a difference in us bringing in personnel. We can't just tell everybody to fly in, and we don't have the logistical support or the equipment and all of that to happen. So this all came together quite well, and part of that achievement is really by the efforts that the Hyatt have given us. So those are the 5 resolutions, Mr. Chair, starting with the again FY 2023-27,
Okay.
27, 28, 29, 30, and 31. So if you want to address it all one time or individually, Mr. Chair, that's a given to Commissioner.
Yes, go ahead. Is there somebody who wants to approve the 5 resolutions?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? No. All those in favor of approving those resolutions from 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimous. Okay. John, what else do you have?
So instead of going through the GM report, unless you really want me to, Mr. Chair, there's not that much more difference from the work session, except that we are working on the key initiatives of trying to get more interruptible oil. We've set quite a few out on that. By the way, the DOD is also helping us in the evening, about 7 megawatts that when they're in interruptible load scenario. And again, we're getting ready to push out the conservation program, which is a very specific and explanatory of how they could
How the customers.
Customers can help themselves save money while at the same time helping everybody from alleviating load shedding. And we are, again, looking at all the other scenarios. Other than that, I did note that, okay, we have about 500 customers that are not returning, have not returned from previous, so that's the number of customers, yeah.
From the
We
store.
went down from 53 something to 52 something from this Typhoon Marwar, no? John can tell you that the receivable, the revenue now is back to close to normal in July. So June was the
Right
key
after the
loss,
storm, yep.
and now we're close to normal with that. So all the debt service, all the financials, so there revenue loss is about 7 million, but also our expenses went down about close to 7 million. So everything is done.
But you're
So
also getting reimbursement for.
that's great, and that's exclusive of the
Exclusive of the.
agreement. And the reimbursement now is on a 90 to 10 basis, no?
Good.
And so we're now working in the process, building out bids, everything for the repair of all those, including the Jigu CT. The FEMA has gone out to take a look at it, and yeah, there are reimbursements that will come from that too. So
Good,
Yeah.
good. Commissioner Sanchez.
John, just refresh my memory, I apologize. There's a protest on the maintenance and repair of the 41 megawatt generators.
yeah, the
And you-
Jigu 40 megawatts.
And you had thought at the work session, if I understood you right, that you thought you would be able to resolve that? Any, how might that work? Any progress on that?
We're working on it right now. I think with the rest, I'll defer to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously capacity is important to us if we can get it, right?
Yep. Yep.
Two protests that we reported last week during the work session. We've resolved one of the two protests with the bidders based on a mutual agreement. I did have a phone conversation with the council representing one of the bidders, and but there's still a stay on the procurement because we still have one protest, but that should be resolved very shortly,
Would that
within a day
allow
or two.
the procurement to proceed?
The stay will be lifted, yes.
Okay.
And then there's still further procedures, so hopefully nothing else beyond that, but we're working
by
real hard
further?
to keep doing that.
What do you mean by further?
Well, there's still the right of the protester to appeal the decision on the protest.
Oh,
So there's a time.
So
Take
if they
it
don't
forward,
agree,
right.
right.
The OPA and
Right,
others,
but that
so.
other process, right. And
yeah.
still no movement on the legislation? I saw Senator Perez asking, she's already had the hearing, I said, can you put it on the floor? No, she said, maybe I'll do it and attach it to the budget, but
No.
I think those of us who've done budgets, we're kind of going, no,
No.
make it a standalone, right? Right, and, yeah, so, but, I mean, we just have to keep nudging her. That would improve the procurement process on a going forward basis, but it doesn't help us now, right? But,
Correct, so yes, nothing yet, but we keep asking.
But your goal is, you're hopeful, depending on these resolutions, to get that capacity back online. At least from last week, I thought you said you're hoping to try to get it back online by the end of the year. Might be in increments, 10,
Yeah,
10,
within the
10.
next 6 to 9 months, but I think more importantly, the first 4 to 6 is gonna make a difference. So,
Right.
yeah. Because the part when I say 9 months, because some of those machines have to be,
Right.
a lot
then-
more work.
And the timeline for Jigo CT, you're still working through that
Yeah,
with FEMA?
trying to do November to December.
Okay.
The-
This year.
That
yeah.
would be good. That would
The
be
shaft has been shipped out already
Yeah.
last week, so that's the important thing, is to get that thing to Texas
Fixed.
and get the rotor fixed and start his journey back, because the rest of the putting things together can be done fairly quick. So we're hoping November to December time frame.
So capacity from the small 1 megawatt generation, you're hoping that can come back quickly? And then you've got Jigo CT that you're working on, that's 25 million.
Yeah, because we're working not only for the next 6 months or whatever, but really for the next 2.5
Right.
years, because
Yeah.
until nothing's changed with all the objectives before the storm of getting Ukudu back, fuel savings, getting more renewables, all of that's still on the table. No?
Yep, yep.
It's just a delay on the process.
Yeah.
But so yeah, and we're looking at other machines. We'll take a look at Cabras 1 and 2. Is there anything else we can do to make it last longer? No? So we are constantly looking at, and I'm glad I have a new, I have a AGMO that's gladly taking the task, you know. So,
We're glad you suckered her into it. Her hair might turn your colors.
she's been doing very well, and we're
She
getting
knows
to.
what to do.
She got her baptism by fire with Wawa.
Yeah,
Well, plus she's done all the solar. I mean, she knows how to buy. She knows how to get generation.
yeah.
So,
So
we'll
I'm
let her do
quite.
that.
We're working real hard to,
Okay.
And so. By the way, the last load shedding in a while was last Thursday,
Yeah.
and that was when Cabra's number 2 trip again with boiler tube leak, but.
Yeah.
We've been able to squeeze by over even today.
Yeah, with the
Squeeze
load,
by.
yeah.
So again,
And then when two's back up, then we're
yeah.
better.
and so I mean I love the weather because it's great now and it gives
You
us a
like the
few
rain.
more days to
Love
try and get number 2 up, and then of course
What's your guesstimate on two? End of the week? Knock on wood.
September 1st. Yeah, that's the end of the week.
Okay.
Yeah.
End of the week. It's Friday. Okay.
But again, we're really gonna try and take our time and test it as much as we can to higher pressure. So hopefully, whatever tubes are gonna burst now. Because every time we bring it up and then bring it down, we lose a day and a half to 2 trying to cool the boiler down and then put the scaffolding up and all of that. So we're gonna try and hopefully, and we will identify what weakness that we have here and how do we plan on the end of the year, maybe December, January, when the load is down, go in and cut a lot of these tubes of the weak area. But I don't have the answers yet. They're working on it.
So they haven't assessed the issues yet?
Not all the issues. Once we're trying to get the unit back just the way it is now, and then plan for any other action.
But the boiler tube leaks, they're unique. They're not the repairs that were previously done.
Some in the same area and some in other areas. And again, that's a lot of tubes in there, right? And we can do an NDT and all that, but we will find out a little bit more. It's been number 1 has been holding on, so it's the number 2 site that we have to concentrate.
Temis helps us with our own team. Gpwa and Temis work on it.
Yeah.
So we still have Temis involved.
Tim is, we need all the help we can right now, because so they help us to try and get the materials, parts, expertise, additional expertise. And so that's why we go into the PUC. That's why this Temis extension is critical for us. In no uncertain terms, we need to move forward, because if we don't have Temis, and I have to rely on our team today, and most of them are capable of retiring anytime, what am I left with? I don't want to be the one running the power plant, no? Even Jen and I mean, so it's very critical for us. And the CCU has approved that, and the PUC is addressing that this Thursday. So hopefully we get it done. No?
Okay.
And then, John, is there any update on the revised Upadu project timeline?
Still the December 2026, although they're working on a shorter schedule. Yeah. I'm sorry, January. Did I say December?
Thursday was December 25.
No. January 2026. No, but we haven't yet agreed on that first, and then after that, we're also looking at seeing how we can expedite it. And of course, expedite it may cost additional manpower for overtime or stuff, but we'll see what happens, and we'll make a determination whether it's worth it or not, no? And all of that. But the key here really is getting the other capacities on and ready, so we can, because we can wait. The earliest that we can see a kilowatt out of that machine will be somewhere around close to the summer of 2025, maybe, or the second quarter 2025. That's when they start testing the combustion turbine after we get the fuel up there. Yeah, but I would think the pipelines and all that should be done by then. So that's what we're going through. come up with a reasonable decision, agreement on a date, and then let's talk about how we can expedite it beyond that.
Okay. Any other questions?
But they are
for
starting to work on it already.
Okay.
Yeah, you see in the GM report, there's a lot of pictures shows what the movements are.
Did have they already shipped in the new tank material?
No, that's going to be a lead time.
Oh, it's a
They,
lead time
I
item.
believe they may have ordered it. I'm not sure yet, but I think they have heard that it was ordered. So that's the one that takes lead time. Maybe we'll have to negotiate and see whether the manufacturer can, put that in the front of the line or something like that. So that's. I think we'll be talking to them, if not later this week, first thing next week. Maybe later this week. No, they're almost ready to talk to us.
And,
Yes.
okay. And you do have your phase 4 renewables, am I right?
Phase 4 renewables is, yes, they've got a question. The opening is October of the technical,
Okay.
and then the price proposal about 2 weeks or so after we qualified. So
that's
somewhere
still moving
before the end
forward.
of the year, we'll be opening phase 4.
Sure. Good.
So again, it's a challenging time because supply chains and all of that have done. So we're trying to work with the vendors to see how we make sure that we get bids on this thing. Trying to be as what do you call it, working with all the vendors have been through the bid process to try and make that happen.
Okay. Any other questions for John or John Kim? Any questions for John Kim? No? Okay. Thank you very much. We'll move on to
Yeah, thank
GWA.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's go straight to your resolutions. And you don't have to
Thank
give
you,
the
Commissioners.
joint resolution, right?
Okay. John, I'll get back to you on that.
Okay, Mr. Chair, thank you. First resolution for decision is Resolution 18 FY 2023, and this is seeking the board's approval for a contract, design and CM contract for the IDIQ of undersized water line replacement. As mentioned in the work session, this is primarily for design and construction management for replacement of 2-inch galvanized water lines and other undersized water lines within GWA's distribution system as identified in our water resource master plan. There was a RFP, request for proposals, that was put out. 15 firms registered for the proposal, 8 firms submitted proposals, and the evaluation committee ranked Brown and Caldwell as the most
What
qualified offer.
resolution are you on?
18 FY 2023.
Okay. I'm on the wrong one. Okay, 18. Go ahead.
The initial scope estimate is, and fee proposal was negotiated to 2.6 million. However, we intend to award, this is going to be awarded based on individual task order basis, and we have 1.5 million in US EPA grant funding that we intend to use to fund the initial portion of the contract. So we're seeking your approval for that amount. If we need to later to augment the funding, we will use bond funds or internally funded CIP to augment any shortfall from the US EPA grant funds.
Okay.
Motion to accept GW Resolution 18.
Motion to approve? Okay. Second. Is there a second? Second. Any further discussion? No? All those in favor of the motion to approve Resolution 18-FY 2023 signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimous. Next.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next resolution is number 36, FY 2023, and this is seeking additional funding for Phase 1 of the Pressure Zone Realignment Construction Contract. This additional funding seeks to address certain change order improvements that are required for various sites within this overall project. Fence repair, the nature of the additional improvements are fence repair, for the Clara site, for the Kaiser site, capping of the existing pressure reducing valve and additional connections to existing piping and appurtenances. For the My site, an additional concrete walkway to the SCADA pedestal and new fencing for site security. I think I mentioned to you the issues we're having with security at some of these sites along
Yes.
the less traveled roadways. For the Terral site, new air relief valve installation and security fencing. For the Okado site, additional fittings based on differing site conditions and also new fencing. And then at various locations, installation of vault ventilation. So these change orders are currently being negotiated, but the engineering team, in order not to delay the completion of the project, is seeking not to exceed amount of $900,000 for the additional work, which would bring the total authorized funding to $7.29 million. We anticipate to complete the work by the end of the year. Funding source for this will be a combination of grant funding and then 3 bond line items, all relating to the distribution system water audit for water loss control and metering, as we have combined DMA improvements with this particular contract.
Now, this will take you to 50% of the pressure zone realignment?
It'll
project?
complete phase 1.
Phase 1?
Yes.
Okay.
And then phase 2, the design has already been completed, and we're working on putting that out to bid.
Going out to bid, okay. Do you have a phase 3 or just phase 2 completed?
No, I think there might be one additional phase. I'm not exactly sure.
Okay. Okay. Motion to approve?
Motion to approve
Motion.
resolution 36-FY 2023.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Martinez. Any further discussion or questions? None? All those in favor of the motion to approve resolution 36 FY 2023 signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimous. Next one, Miguel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next issue for decision is Resolution 38 FY 2023, and this is seeking approval for additional funding for the construction contract for tank repair and bypass. This relates specifically to 2 existing projects that are part of court order for tank rehabilitation, specifically the Umatic subdivision tank and the Malolo tank. Under the current contract, there is an additive bid item for major repairs at the Umatic tank, and that is currently included in the contract as at the amount of $877,000 approximately. Based on the recent cost increases for this type of work, the engineering team is seeking a not to exceed amount of $1.725 million for this, and for the Malolo tank similarly, the additive bid item was estimated at $1.128 million, and they're seeking a not to exceed amount of $2.275 million to account for cost escalations when these projects are actually initiated. The reason why we don't know at this point is once the tanks are taken offline, they're undergoing the inspections now, and then the contractor will be required to submit an estimate or proposal based on what the inspections find, which we don't know yet until that is completed, right?
Okay.
So the estimates are our best estimates from the engineering department based on the conditions of the tank that are observable. But once these inspections come back in, the contractor will submit pricing, and they're anticipating it's going to go up. They don't want to delay this project, which is why they're seeking the advance approval for not to exceed amount.
Okay.
This will be an additional $4 million, bringing the total funding authorization to $19.54 million if approved.
This is all bond funded.
Yes, this is all done.
Motion to approve?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Chaco. Any further questions or discussions? None? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimous. Okay, next.
Telling you when it's-
39.
Good evening, Commissioners. The next resolution for your consideration is Resolution 39 FY 2023, which is relative to approving the charge-off of receivables that have been deemed uncollectible. these receivables are 4 years old or older. And and we generally do this annually. The last time we performed, you approved a write-off was last August 2022. There are 1,624 accounts, which equal 887,381. The majority of those are trade receivables. Schedule A to the resolution is a further breakdown of the receivables. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Is this the same charge we discussed for GPA before that we tried to resolve? I mean,
Yes, it's slightly lower, but the majority, the reason why we haven't been able to get them to pay it off is because we don't have any, we can't find any documentation. Some of these are old accounts.
Okay, and same with the airport?
The airport
This was a leak, right?
it has to do with the well pullout, I believe.
Yeah, this is for capital repair of their system, and we provided, in order to get the system up and running, we provided pump and motor from our inventory for the change out, and so it's for the cost of the labor and the, if I'm not mistaken, and the equipment.
But it's something that they agreed to,
It's the cost of capital maintenance is supposed to be paid for by the airport as written in the contract agreement. However, we have been trying to renegotiate that contract that expired quite some time ago. And so while these contract negotiations are ongoing, they have not taken care of the amounts. We will still try to recover the costs if we move forward with.
With a new contract.
It's their system, so we just operate it.
We operate and
and you just
maintain
shut
it.
the wall off.
This has been a long-standing one.
Yes.
Yeah, these two. What about the 15% hotel? I mean, are these hotels still in business?
This has to do with a hotel that's shut down and is, we filed with their bankruptcy to try to collect any money that eventually gets distributed to their debtors.
Which hotel is that?
This is the
Verona.
Verona. That hotel's bad luck.
Don't hold your breath.
200 lean.
No, but that hotel's never worked. I mean, okay.
And you just
there's a
tacked it
motion
onto
already
a
on this, right? Did we
Not
move?
Okura, but what's that?
There's another.
So,
No, it's
so
the
this,
same one though.
Yeah.
you moved on this.
Second.
Okay. No, any further questions, comments? No? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, nay, motion carries. Okay. And
And
what
I
else do you have?
believe the resolution 40 was adopted as a joint resolution with GPA.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Is that 40 through 43?
No, just.
No,
just-
that's
41 's the
the
credit
credit
card.
card.
Oh, credit card, yeah.
Yeah. No, 41 is relative to approval of
The credit card policy.
No,
Yeah.
that's
40.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
40.
we're now going to 41
41.
as a result.
So 41 is relative to requests to approval of the construction contract for the Ugum Surface Water Treatment Plant Rehabilitation Project. This project is urgent and necessary. It was needed before the typhoon. Since the typhoon, there's more of a need now to conduct this rehabilitation and replace some of the major equipment at the Ugum Surface Water Treatment Plant. You previously approved a resolution authorizing funding. We put the project back out to bid after receiving no bids on the initial IFB. And when for that second rebid, we did receive two bid proposals, and the lowest responsible offer came in at 9.18 million, which was higher than the budget. So and your prior authorization. So we have identified additional funding that can be used for this, and we are seeking your approval to award along with a 10% contingency for a total funding authorization of 10.1 million. We anticipate that this will be completed within 425 calendar days, and it will be funded from Gpwa bonds and also US CPA grant funds.
Okay. Is there a motion?
A motion to approve Resolution 41 FY 2023.
Is there a second? Second, Mr. Sanchez. Any further questions?
Just quick question, so, you know, Ugam supplies the south, so while we're rehabbing, we're still able to provide them water?
Yes.
You figured all that out?
Yes.
We're gonna bring water from the north, or?
No,
you'll
no,
have
no,
some-
the
you'll
plant-
have some
the plant
partial-
will continue
some
to operate.
capacity. You're gonna do it in
Right.
section segments, okay, cool.
Yeah. How did the plant do during the storm and during heavy rain?
It did,
Well,
it was required to be shut down. Actually, we first started to see increases in turbidity before the storm even hit. So, fortunately, we were able to ride that period out. Once the storm hit, there was,
a lot of,
there was some damage to the lines in the south leading out of the plant, which caused a drop in the level in the reservoir. They secured and then tried immediate response activities, included repairing those leaks, and then it also gave the operators the opportunity to clean the surface water intake, the raw water intake, the pump station. There was a lot of debris on top of that. So, but the plant was able to come back to pre-storm capacity, I think within about 6 days. And then the south was the first to be fully restored, the southern water system. So the guys down there did a tremendous job getting the plant up and running.
This is the first major refurbishment in quite some time with Ugam, right?
Yes.
I vaguely remember after '02, you know, after Punks on Wall, we had issues that led to a major refurbishment, and now we're putting, rightfully so, we're putting another $10 million into it, right?
I think-
It struck me as I read this, I'm going, is this the first one we've done since what we did after Punks on Wall?
I think the only other large expenditure has been the membrane replacements, which happened right when I first came on board.
Right.
2016.
It's important, it's a good project, has to be done.
It provides water to the southern part.
Yep.
Helps us out.
Helps our team out.
Helps us not buy so much water from the Navy.
Yep, all good, all good.
Oh, good. Okay. Did we have a motion on this? Yes, we did already. Any further questions or comments? None? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimous. Okay, next.
The next resolution is 42 FY 2023, and this is just seeking your approval of an amendment to a previous resolution that you've already approved. And it is intended to correct on the bond reallocation resolution. We indicated a certain amount of 2020 A bonds that were being reallocated, but there was in fact about $1 million or so. Let's see the attachment here, but there was
13 and 16.
2013 and 2016 bond funds which also needed to be reallocated. The total amount does not change, but we just wanted to correct for the record the correct source of those funds that are going to be reallocated. So we're seeking your approval on this amendment.
Is there a motion?
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
42,
second.
2023.
Second. Any further questions or comments? None? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimous. And the last one?
Resolution 43 FY 2023 is relative to the adoption of an interim operating budget for fiscal year 2024. As you might remember, Resolution 33 FY 2023 approved the FY 24 budget along with the true-up projections. The true-up was submitted to the PUC back in June, on June 1st. The hope was by this point they would have acted on it. However, it's not on the August agenda, and it's my understanding that it will be placed on the September agenda, but that won't happen until September 29th, which is
The end
a
of the
couple
fiscal
days
year.
before the fiscal year ends.
Okay,
So the intention is to ask for approval of this interim budget so that there's no disruption in services.
Sure.
And as soon as the PUC acts, we'll come back to the CCU with any adjustments that were made by the PUC.
Move to approve Resolution 43, 2023.
Is there a
Mr. Chair.
second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Santos. Any further discussion? None? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimous. And by the way, I'd just like to acknowledge that our GWA team is 7th year in a row clean audit.
Yep, good job, everybody.
Good job.
Good job, everybody.
Good job, guys. Thank you, Tobin.
Thank you.
Okay, next, anything else?
No further
You're for an executive session?
issues
Yes.
for decisions
So-
in the executive session.
Okay, Teresa, you have a,
Before we go
Recommend-
into
oh.
executive session, what is this?
Oh.
Did we want to go over this?
no,
It's
that's
just
just,
for
that's
our-
just from the chair, that's just
That's
information.
preliminary.
That's preliminary
That
information.
issue will be raised in the September.
I just wanted to give a heads up to the commissioners,
Okay.
for scheduling purposes.
Yeah, I just noted, luckily it's the week after the New York Marathon is when you go to market. 'Cause
Okay, well,
there's no hotel rooms.
yeah, so, anyway, this is just for scheduling.
That's where certain marathoners are
Going to go.
staying in because they can't get into Manhattan. Yeah, but it's the week after, it's perfect.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's Just
But the October 9th is the rating agency
rating
presentation?
agency presentation.
Tell them we're moving it to the West Coast.
I defer to you, Mr.
No.
Can be done.
No.
Right to Chicago.
No.
The rating presentation,
they're
whether we do it
joking.
in New York or the.
Okay,
We're not
anyway,
joking, sir.
you're not joking?
Last
Okay,
time I checked, we paid for this.
okay,
Well, and we've done it in the Bay Area, so either city
okay,
works.
let's move on, though.
Okay.
Teresa?
Motion
you
to
have a-
recess.
No, motion to,
We
recess.
need to read our memo.
Thought about where you wanted to.
Legal
Do you have the
counsel.
memo?
New York versus.
Do you have a memo for us? To go into executive session?
Yes, Mr. Chair, it should be in your board book.
It's in there, Mr. Chair.
Okay,
Yeah, the letter from.
okay,
Teresa.
based on, okay,
Yeah, we're gonna discuss litigation, so.
yes, okay,
Dated August
so,
23rd? Okay.
Yes.
I don't know what number, what
It's in
page
there.
number.
it's in
Okay.
there.
It's in-
Okay, I see it.
Thank you.
Based
very
on,
much.
letter issued by our legal counsel, the chair will recognize a motion to
Motion to go into
Re-
executive session.
to go into executive session. 5-minute break. session. Everybody's still here, all for the record, all 5 commissioners are still present. We have a proposal. Do you want to frame it?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Do you want to go? Or we, the,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I asked the board to consider a motion to authorize the general manager to enter and execute the draft version, or what will become a final version of a partial consent decree between the United States, EPA, GWA, and the government of Guam.
So moved.
Okay, second? Any further discussion? None? Oh, okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries with all unanimous votes. Thank you very much. Any other business? Nope. No, sir. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
Aye.
Good job, everybody.